Well, in case you were not aware, Boks euphoria is sweeping the nation ahead of the Rugby World Cup finale between the Springboks and the All Blacks tonight in Paris. Let's dive into the homes, shall we? Joining us now is Tatenda Chigwedere, a Zimbabwean national who's now living in South Africa with his family. Tatenda, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. And of course, to the family also, good evening to you all.
Good evening.
And thank you for making this time to speak to us. I take it the whole family will be supporting the Springboks tonight.
Definitely. You see, we're wearing our green and gold already, except by a little baby here. But we're so happy. We can't wait for the game.
Let's look into that. I mean, how important is this game not only to South Africans, but to Africa as a continent?
Look, it's a very special game. We are Africans, and you know, my daughter, the firstborn, was born in Zambia. My son was born in Zimbabwe. My baby girl was born in South Africa. So we are South Africans, we are Zimbabweans, we are Zambians, we are Africans. This game is so important for all of us. And we say, go Boka, we're going to take it, bring it home.
Does this also inspire other nations, especially in the continent, Tatenda, to improve their rugby structures in their country and to draw some inspiration to what we have seen from the Springboks, not only from a playing perspective, but the unity that we see when this team does well?
Yeah, it does, quite certainly. Because if you look at, you know, Tendai, the Beast Mtawarira from Zimbabwe, he came, he represented South Africa, and he won the World Cup for us. And, you know, I would love, you know, the Zimbabwean rugby team to learn from the Springboks. I would love all the African nations to learn from the Springboks, you know. And I think it's really inspiring for all the African countries, yeah.
And I mean, the other thing, Tatenda, is that we have not seen many countries within the continent playing rugby. This should at least serve as some sort of motivation to at least start in, because I'm sure there's young people, as you're sitting there with the young ones, who will be inspired also to take up the game.
Yeah. I don't know. Rugby is not a common sport in other African countries. I don't know if it's because of the lack of facilities, but I know, especially if you look at like the sevens, you know, Zimbabwe is very good, Kenya is very good with the rugby, Zambia is very good with the rugby sevens. Zambia hosts rugby sevens, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Cape Town. You know, if they can take it from there, and other countries can also learn from that and move it forward. I think my son is going to be a Springbok, future Springbok.
No pressure to the young man there. But then, I mean...
and he can represent Zimbabwe, so I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Africa,
it's interesting that you mention the sevens and how we have seen a lot of African countries really doing very well, or at least participating within the sevens game, I guess because of how fast it is and how quick it is and short. But I guess that will serve as a build-up to just improving with it. But I want us to look into just the final tonight. I mean, from your perspective as a Springbok fan, where do you think will be the key for the Springboks, if I may be biased, to win in this one?
This crown, definitely. We've got the best crown in the world, and those big boys, they're gonna mess the All Blacks. I think the key will be this crown, and we have Pollard in for the kick, because it's gonna be very tight. It's gonna be very tight. So I think the coaches did well by picking Pollard, because every point is very important. So we cannot, we need to put away the penalties and all that stuff. But the scrum is gonna be the key point.
Indeed, because of the packs and also the fact that we've seen South Africa doing quite well, the coaching team are always making sure that come second half they try and improve on that, so winning from the bench. But before we go deeper into this, just how New Zealand, or a threat that New Zealand is, I just want to hear from the kids, Tatenda, if I may. Let's start with the future Sevens Springbok. I didn't quite get his name, but what are their predictions?
It's also Tatenda.
Tatenda also. Oh, that's Tatenda Junior. Tatenda Junior,
Yes.
what is your prediction for tonight's game, Tatenda?
Springbok.
And by how many points?
5 points.
Would you like to play rugby in future, Tatenda?
Yes.
Or are you more of a soccer?
Yes.
Are you more of a football player?
Yes, I'm a football player.
You do look like a winger, but of course we can bring you into that. And I mean, also let me get a quick prediction, if I may, Tatenda, from the girls there. What are they saying about the game tonight?
The Springboks are definitely going to take the cup home. Yeah.
And I mean, what's your score prediction?
Probably like 19 or 16.
That's good.
Well,
I want us to be in the by far.
all right. Well, that's a reasonable 1916. As the captain Siyakolisi did even say that whether you win by a point or half a point, it doesn't matter. But Tatenda Senior, I want to come back to you. Also, just looking at New Zealand, as much as we're talking about the strengths of the Springboks and the fears and the euphoria that we have as Africans and South Africans, New Zealand is not a team to be taken lightly. Which areas of their game do you think we should be wary of going into tonight's game?
Yeah, I think those guys can attack so well. They are very quick. I'm sure they're gonna try to use the strategy that you've seen the past two games, France and England. They came in, with the strategy where they just want to attack us and don't give us, space, So, but yeah, those guys are very, very attacking. But it's going to open up the game. That's what I like about New Zealand is they're not going to play, a dirty game. It will be open, we'll attack. Our forwards I know our forwards will do a good game. So, yeah.
And I mean, speaking of that, we know you spoke about the kicking game, that Handré Pollard is going to be very key in the kicking. And with the weather conditions expected there, it is expected that the kicking will win that one. You also spoke about the scrum in that regard. But I also just want to get your prediction. I mean, we've had by 5 points, by 3 points. What do you say, Tatenda, in terms of the prediction for the score tonight?
I think it will be very close. My daughter said by 15, 19 or something like. I don't think it will get to that. I think it's gonna be very close. I would go for maybe. Well, it's not gonna be a winning penalty like our previous game with England, but maybe I would go for 5 points. Actually, I did on my rugby predictor. I predicted by 5 points. Yeah.
Springbok by 5 points. So are we likely going to see a number of tries? Because I mean, we know that it came down to that against England. The team that scored the tries. Well, it was just one try from South Africa, as it were. That was the difference. Are you likely going to see a few tries being scored? Because we know that New Zealand are very good when it comes to that.
Definitely, they are very good. I know Richie Mwanga, and I think I can't remember the other kicker, but they're very good with their kicks. So we have to be perfect and make sure we put out all our kicks. Yeah.
Fantastic. Tatenda Chigwedere and family, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm hoping that it will be a celebratory mood come the end of the game.